Good morning, hello, and welcome, everybody. We're going to be checking out some stuff going on here in just a second. It is November the 7th of 2022. We're getting ready for a fun-filled week of trading in the ever wonderful world of the SPY. Yeah. Um, just wanted to say thank you to those of you who hang out with me live and those of you who watch these recordings afterwards. And those of you who are attentive enough to ask me questions. I love that stuff. Love answering questions, or at least helping you find answers to questions if I don't have the answers. Like I've said before, guys, not a professional. I just really enjoy doing this. I like battling it out with the puzzle and the challenge that is trading, the markets, psychology, technical analysis, all that stuff. And I also have a passion for teaching, educating, and sharing information and knowledge. So I love doing this for you guys. I love doing this for me. And just wanted to say thank you for your continued support. And of course, if you're a first timer watching this stuff, or if you've been watching for a while, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, join our Discord, hang out with me live when I do this, ask questions, kibitz with me. It's lots of fun. I promise. All right. That promise is not a guarantee. But, anyways, got about 6-7 minutes ish before bell starts. I did wake up super late today, had a very fun filled weekend, and I'm kind of recovering from that still. I don't know about you guys, but I don't sleep well in beds that are not my own. I did when I was a lot younger. I mean, I could pass out anywhere, but nowadays, old man syndrome, bad. Can't do it. All right. So, with the rally that we had last week leading into the sell off after FOMC, the first thing that I really want to point out and have you guys pay attention to is our 20 and our 50 moving average. We've kind of swung around them, right? We were trading below, a lot of consolidation down here. We built out a ton of volume, created a point of control in the 3-month look, rallied up and over, found a little peak and a top. Can see in the volume profile how everything built out. And then we drop back down below, kind of into our meaty area again. But if you look, the low on Thursday, stopped just short of hitting our point of control. And then the low on Friday was a higher low, along with a higher high, breaching back into our EMA cloud. So this tells us today, especially our 50, our 20, these are going to be some important spots for us to watch, including our 61.8 retracement level. I remember, what was it, Friday, when we were live trading, and somebody had actually asked me the question. They said, how did you know to enter there for the fade? Well, in the answer that I gave, I'm going to try and quote myself. I didn't know for certain, but I had a pretty good idea, right? We were up on a gap after such an aggressive sell-off. We had this thinnish area in the volume, and based on what the overnight session was telling me, it looked like it wanted to balance there. But for the initial session, it looked like it wanted to fill the gap. So I was already working with the high probability that we were going to fill the gap. As far as entering where I did, well, once we crossed through the 20 and it didn't want to reclaim that, we had a nice spike, obviously, from this big sell-off day. Well, that was telling me that that was going to be my best entry point to get in short, right? It's the 20 moving average on our daily. We lose that, that's pretty significant because there's a lot of people watching that. There's a lot of algorithms watching that. So just something to keep in mind for your future trading endeavors and why those particular points are so important. It isn't necessarily that they're technically important. It's that everyone watches them. So that's why they're important. But I digress. So for today, we're going to be looking for a potential short opportunity at the 50 if price action moves up there and we don't seem to get any acceptance or bullish activity pushing us through this thin spot towards this meteor spot. But if we do get some push through and acceptance, we'll probably be looking to play long with some balancing going on up in this higher volume node. If we end up losing the 20, we'll be looking to short back down to our 372.31, which held really strong. Our other support level, the 370.18, that held really strong on Friday too. So that's going to be another one we're going to be paying attention to if we do end up heading down. And of course, we're also going to be looking for a potential long entry off the 20 if activity just doesn't want to get below it. So, three potential scenarios that we're working with today. We could see some balancing between our EMAs as the Bulls and the Bears kind of duke it out, figuring out who's going to be taking control of this next. Potential long scenario above our 50, potential short scenario below our 20, right? It's just going to depend on who wins out the auction war. So yeah. Best of luck today, guys, and let's get to our main charts so we can prepare for some trades. That's that's my main screen. This is the one that you guys watch, the streamer screen. And of course, as always, guys, if there's other charts that you think would be more beneficial for you guys to be watching while I'm trading, totally never opposed to putting those up. Did I not change that? Sorry, looking at the volume chart here. Unfortunately, our Welkin volume does not work with tick charts. So we actually have to do just the good old-fashioned regular volume chart when we're looking at these. Although it doesn't seem to be showing us any volume. That's kind of weird. Huh. Wolf waves. You don't need wolf waves on a tick chart. What is this? What is this nonsense? We don't need our 3.0 VWAP or our 2.0 VWAP. We really just focus on our 1.0 these days. This must be some old scripting that I had from other charts that I used to use. But anyways, yeah, this is the simple stuff. Simple stuff. That's all we need. All right. So let's save this grid now so it doesn't revert on us again, because I've definitely made those alterations before. Okay, getting to our main chart. Actually, we'll leave our mouse on just in case I do want to hop over to that. Hello, welcome, good morning. This is to all of y'all hanging out with me in the Discord channel. I'm now got the chat window up so I can see all your smiling faces. Just kidding, I can't see your faces, but I can see your nice comments and your good mornings and your hellos. All right. Okay, now we're moving back to our main screen. Slide our microphone over a little bit. All right, there's our opening bell, and we're off, ladies and gentlemen. So we're hanging out in the top quadrant of our overnight activity. So this is going to be our interesting first spot to watch, see if there's a lot of really strong bullish activity, if we end up taking out the previous day high early, or if we just can't find any bullish momentum up here. So we start the day off with a little bit of a retrace. Either way, depending on how activity plays out here, there's a potential early play for those of you who are brave enough. Being as close as we are to the high, we have potential short opportunities on a failed attempt to breach it. So something to keep in mind. Now, again, that's if you are feeling particularly risky, just because the morning is always more volatile than everything else, which is generally why I don't place my first trade until about C period. So that's after an hour of market data has joined the fray. I do sometimes enter before that, but it has to make complete sense. The setup has to be there, and I will typically remove some risk if I'm playing in a more volatile environment. So if that's your cup of tea, yeah. I am going to turn the overnight information off now, though, So that way we get a little bit more accuracy in our VWAP. Still no volume data. Interesting. I wonder why. Oh well, not super important to me right at this second. We'll figure that out another time. My long COVID is finally starting to get better. I am finding some improvements, coughing a lot less, not quite as fatigued, getting back to it. Not that anybody asked, but I figured I'd fill you guys in anyways. Opening range, pretty narrow. We are hanging out in a potential supply zone that I marked off from Friday. So we'll be curious if we do get a good opportunity to short without a high to recognize off of. That being said, if it is in fact a good supply zone, we would have assumed that the opening movement would have been a little bit more aggressively down, a little bit quicker. Although, I mean, we're only 5 minutes in, and we do seem to be looking for that low. So we'll keep our eyes on it. Our EMAs are pretty much touching each other on our 5-minute HA candles, which is the chart that we use to help us determine direction on the shorter time frames. And then, of course, on our longer time frames, things are just kind of wacky. 30-minute time frame, we've got bullish. 5-day 30-minute time frame, we've got bearish. 15-minute time frame, we're trading inside of the cloud. So yeah, this isn't necessarily the best risk to reward spot to try getting into any trades just at the moment. All right, so there's the first test of our 13 moving average after we cross through our VWAP. Unfortunately, it's not really lining up with any other solid lines. So while this potentially looks like it would have been a great spot to hop in short, I had nothing on my charts to show me that I had a good setup there. But yeah, no, looks like that would have been a great short off the 13. I mean, even if this only ends up being like a scalp opportunity, I mean, I don't even have any contracts loaded up yet. You know what? We should probably do that. Oh, let's see. Cha-cha-cha. Well, I guess where we're hanging out now, all right, if we were going to play long off the 20, which is our potential staging ground, what we'd be looking at, I think I like the 377s for long today. And if we're playing short, well, ideally, if we're playing short, we would have had something up around our overnight high or even our 50 moving average. But given where we're at right at this moment, and if we potentially lose the 20 moving average, we're going to load up 376s. But if we hold the 20 and we end up moving up, we'll probably change that to the 380 or the 379 for our short contracts. Oy. All right, so we got everything loaded up now. We are good to go. So just for some hindsight analysis, if we did try to short the 13 there, let's see, we probably could have gotten, we'll say the contracts we're looking at for like 1.22, 1.20 maybe, being generous. And coming down here to the previous day close, which would be a great spot to shave some profit. It's 1.61, 1.60, that area. So that would have been a great move to take some profit off of. So if you are short, if you are riding short, definitely would recommend securing a little bit of profit here because we are also close to the 20 moving average. And then, if we end up breaking that, hang on to that, ride it for a bit. Nothing telling me to get in long yet. Ideally, we want something a little bit closer to a risk-reward spot, and we want a better price for the contracts we're watching. Or we want to see the reversal start, and then we'll hop in as it moves. So since we are down near the 20, that's where our eyes are. That's what we're watching. Staging ground for a reversal or staging ground for a breakdown. All right, so with that wick right there, we just got one of our best risk to reward spots for a long. It happened a little too quick for me, and we've already moved 10 cents back up away from it. So that being said, still not in a terrible spot price-wise to buy in, but it also doesn't look like it's flipping around super quick. So I think what we may do, we may see if we get some consolidation down here, and then we'll play it like a Wyckoff channel, and we'll just look for the better long opportunity off of a retest. So let's draw out our potential channel for now. All right, we've got the down move, and now we have the reaction. And that down move is just hanging out above our 20 moving average. So that's a great spot for support. We'll see if this reaction comes up to that thin spot where our 13 moving average is. That would make the most sense. The only thing that would stink for me is if we just end up crushing back through that and bulls start taking over, because then that means I missed my really good opportunity. So the reason I held off was just because kind of how things were moving, and I was thinking that there was a good possibility we get some consolidation down where we've built out some volume here this morning, and then we'd get a better opportunity a little bit later to play off that support. But it looks like potentially I was wrong, and we may have missed the really good long entry, but we'll see. All right, so we're going to mark that off now as our reaction level. So if my thesis is correct, what we want to see here now is a little bit of back and forth bouncing between the reaction level and our support. This could still get up as high as VWAP, for us to kind of still be okay with the potential thesis that we're playing off of. So we are going to end up moving our reaction level here because it's still going. And that is right up to VWAP. So let's see if we do get the pushback down now. If we don't, again, we missed the spot, the best spot, I should say, and we'll probably wait a little bit longer before we get in long. But if any of you did hop in long off that 20 moving average touch, I mean, we were up at VWAP there, so great spot to take a little bit of profit off the table, secure some of your early morning gains, and then just see how this pans out. We are getting some pretty solid consolidation right under the VWAP, so this does look like it might be getting ready to break to the top side. I don't particularly feel like entering here just because the amount of risk that I would have to put on for the potential reward is just not in my, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, it's just not my play. But the fact that it is consolidating up here at the top of this reaction move, that is good news for the bulls today. And look at that. So now that we're pushing up and penetrating the 48, we're probably going to look for any kind of pullback and see if it has strength or not. And yeah, we might get in long on this this consolidation up here. So that's a pretty solid ignition candle to the downside. And it's a little hard to see, but we have our first supply zone. And that wicked right down to the value low on the current price action. So what we're looking for now here with our moving averages and this potential play and setup is we want to watch for a weakened pushback to enter long off of. I'd say realistically, we're probably looking, I mean, for something somewhere near this line. So we potentially just missed the good risk to reward entry for that particular play. The risk is a little bit higher than if we were to get our entry down near where the initial low is. But for these types of plays, you know, if we are in fact getting the staging ground for the EMA crossover, then that kind of a pushback is what we would be looking for to enter off of. Actually, sorry, I think this is the level that we would have been looking for the entry point off of. Kind of similar to how we set up supply and demand zones for these types of pullback plays. If this breaks the previous day value high, we'll probably try and jump in long for a quick scalp. Well, looks like we're getting some coiling instead. Might have been late to that break party. So now that we drew in our coil, I don't like that level for entering on the pullback play anymore. So, I mean, you can see it's breaking back down to originally where we were hoping to get in. Contracts are threatening to get lower than before, but they didn't quite make it there. Oh man, look at that. Dang. Yep, we missed our entry. Could have gotten those for 140. Although it looks like that may have just been a nice scalp and nothing more. Teehee. We still haven't lost the 20, though. So we could be witnessing an accumulation campaign. Speaking of which, I do want to grab my long entry soon. The risk to reward is getting pretty good here, and we can pretty much set it for just about what we would do for any regular play. Our stop out will be below. And of course, our potential credit will be, well, holding of the 20. I don't want to overpay for it. But if we start fitzing around too much, there's always the potential to miss it. And we still have 9.5 minutes till period B. The low did not get lower than the first low. Not yet, at least. And the price that we were willing to pay has moved on. Well, keeps getting close to that. I don't know if that gives us enough breathing room. All right, I'm going to put a buy order on the chart just for a second so I could see where that stop would get to. Yeah, I definitely want a better price just because of where I would end up putting my stop. Oh, and we just had it for a second there, but of course I was watching something. Gosh darn it. Yeah, that's called distracting yourself. All right. I got in. Actually, a little bit better price than I was anticipating. And that puts our stop right where we wanted it to be. Oh, geez. All right. Well, we're just, yep. Okay. Well, they assaulted the 20. So there goes our long position. We may re-enter if this gets pushed back, but it looks like somebody's really going for it. All right. We'll see if we just got the best price of the day. This is our last attempt at a long at this level. We will be looking to bail if we can't get back over that 20. All right, this is going to be a test right here. Are they going to push us back through? Oh boy. Well, it looks like sellers stepped in with some pretty nice aggression. Fortunately, we got a really good price on the volatility, so we do get to give this some breathing room. But that 20 looks like it's holding pretty good. It's kind of similar to the Friday short. Yeah. So I'm not feeling super confident in the long because we aren't really seeing, we're not seeing the pushback. We're getting consolidation, which consolidating at the ends of ranges, a lot of times the probability is in favor of that continuing its move. But we'll see. I mean, it's still in a safe spot for us to kind of hang out and give it some time to develop. All right. So what we want to do now, we want to try to objectively look at the chart and pretend like we're not even in a long position and see what would we be looking for. I mean, we're still right on that 20, and I mean that's the line. For a long bias, we need buyers to defend this. For the short bias, we want to see continued effort to suppress the price under the point of control. So actually, I mean, we've got a pretty good trend line right here. We could probably channel that and see what our short opportunities would look like. We are getting some shortening of the thrust here, and it is moving more sideways through the top. Yeah, I think we're sitting at maybe a 50-50 on either side. But we would look for the failed break to get short. That would be our best risk to reward spot at this point on how everything's developing. Seems like the most volume of this area is at the bottom of its range. Not really getting much trading volume up here. I realize you can't see my mouse because I'm on my main chart. So we're talking about the 20 EMA level. There really isn't a lot of trade facilitating right underneath it, but there's more trade facilitating a few ticks below it. We're a couple minutes out on B period. There's just more and more evidence mounting that we're on the wrong side. Sitting at like 78% selling pressure on the day. Well, there's a nice rally attempt. All right, cool. 120. Oh, this is a potential short. We probably should have defended that position. Yep. But I was looking for where I could cut some profit, so I wasn't actually paying attention to the chart. So there is selling presence that's been building all morning. And I mean, this was another swing at the VWAP that absolutely got smacked down there. Yeah, it's a shame. If I had been paying attention to the actual chart, we could have defended that for a couple cents, or we could have hopped in short when the break of the channel just did not go anywhere. So if you did take that short that I was talking about a little bit ago, awesome, good on you. Pay attention to the potential shortening of the thrust to indicate when and where you should be getting out of your short or where you should be aiming to take your profits. Oh man, that looks like it might have just been a clear out. That's obnoxious. That's really obnoxious. All right. We're going to take one more crack at trying to get back into this. Okay. So this is our last attempt at a long play. We're back in at the same price that we freaking paid and just got knocked out at. But I feel good now that we saw that there. So what that looks like to me is that was a clear out attempt. They were trying to knock out retail traders who weren't feeling good about long positions to accumulate a little bit more. It seems like the game is trying to accumulate what they can under the 20. So I want to find a better spot to add a little bit more to this, but I might have just Lost it. All right. Well, we're about 40 cents down. So unfortunately, that means we need 40 plus cents on this play to make back what we lost. But I think we're on the right side now. This looks like it is going to, in fact, break VWAP. And we're getting our crossover in the EMAs. So it stinks that I let them knock me out. Hindsight. All right, while I'm talking, we're going to defend this just in case they try some chicanery. Hindsight analysis of it. If I had given my stop the full loss potential, then I would have seen an opportunity to actually add to my long position at a better price. And we would be sitting really pretty right now. But anyways, I digress. It's neither here nor there. That happened. It's over. It's done with. We've now got this battle over VWAP. We've got the crossover event. Buyers look like they're running into a teensy bit of trouble, but we did just start B period. We've got a great spike on A period. So lots of things are looking up for our long position. If we do get a pullback right to where they're crossing over, we'll probably add a couple contracts. Once we cross $1.60, the good news is that's the point at which we're break even on the day. And this looks like it's got plenty of potential to push a couple more highs. Oh, did I just miss it? Yeah, I just missed the add to. Oh, well. It's fine. Oh. Interesting. I would have actually expected a little bit more from this. I was expecting a break of the previous day value high. I can't tell if it's running out of steam here or if there's just, lots of things changing hands right at this point. This is where our point of control is. We've got the most volume traded here today, so it does seem to stand to reason that there's a lot of things changing hands. So potentially this is the coil spot for the next leg up, at which point I would expect us to go challenge the high of the day. Because that's our first spot that we're going to be looking to take profit at. So I guess while we've got a little bit of breathing room here, we're going to try and figure out where that exactly would be. Oh, it's up at like 250. Oh, there's no way we can get that anymore. We try 220. We'll see about that. Oh, look at that. That's like right on. Sweet. But we do want to go reset our protection because we ain't letting us lose on this. Not after. No, we're not going to add to our losses today. If we get booted out, we'll look for the next good trade. All right, so we got a touch at the top of that zone. We didn't quite break the previous day value high, so that's going to work against us a little bit because we did have that zone drawn out there, which we would have expected some sell orders to be trapped. So now the $1 million question is are there enough buy orders staging at this point here to overwhelm any potential trapped sell orders at that level? Because remember, when you're talking about campaigns, about accumulation campaigns, distribution campaigns, the idea is they're trying to absorb enough of the other side, so when they move the price, there isn't resistance against it. Resistance in this case would be, either up or down, doesn't matter. We're talking resistance in the form of orders that would halt the progression of price action in the given direction. Man, as this kind of dies out, though, we are losing out on our volatility. Oh, man. Are you kidding me? So I did just adjust our safety stop because there's potential to add to our position here. And our safety stop still is going to keep us making a few cents on this. But I just don't I just don't want to get knocked out and then not have a good price for the next move. You know what I'm saying? Quite a bit of selling effort stepping in. So this is the point at which we find out if the absorption was done correctly. Well, not correctly, but done well enough. The EMA cloud's having a tough time holding. VWAP's getting tested. I mean, we'd expect some support here. Well, oh, all right. They're taking VWAP back. That's unfortunate. Our stop is right at the base of this ignition candle. But the probability of our up move is starting to diminish, at least for the time being. This was kind of a rally's kind of dying out here. So it's a good thing we did adjust our stop, though, because that would have kicked us out right there. Looks like we can get a connection here now. All right, so those look like they matched each other. Another attempt at that value high. Looks like there were still a few more orders trapped there. That's amazing. Such a small zone, but a very large volume of orders. So this will be our third knock on this door. This is where we'd like to see the floodgates break. Wow, look at that. Let's see if it breaks this support line that it's made. Trying to figure out where the demand level's rising up to. Or sorry, where the demand level's falling to. I mean, it seems pretty clear where demand is. Um, but it has not overwhelmed the supply yet. Getting a tightening of our moving averages. Cloud's narrow. We've got a lot of push into the cloud. We've got a battle for the VWAP. We'll see if they go take one more knock on that door. Because at this point now, they're starting to knock on support pretty much as they're knocking on that resistance up at the value, previous day value high. So some long factors to consider. We couldn't get price acceptance below the 20. We do seem to have a rising support. Some short factors to consider. There's still sell orders entering the market at that level that are absorbing so far every attempt to push through it. A continued resistance could potentially invigorate some bears who may be sitting on the sidelines, or some bulls to switch sides. But here it is. Here's our fourth knock on that door. See if renewed vigor in orders comes in, or if they finally absorbed everything and we do get our leg up. All right, little test probe. They made it through the zone. So it looks like all the old orders have been consumed. So now it's on bears to add new orders here if they're going to try and defend this. Kind of getting that pause. If there's no defense, then we could be looking at another ignition candle in a second here. Losing the value high is a potential upthrust event for this consolidation area. However, finding support at the value high confirms a break. So those are the two things that, that's the one thing we're watching right now. Confirmation of this break or an upthrust event to potentially try and grab a short off of. Speaking of which, are we even on the right short contracts? We are not. Well, so far, this break doesn't seem to have a lot of enthusiasm behind it. But they could still be just kind of testing the waters here. All right, so here's the next probe. All right, so this was an ignition. Now, those who are playing bullish are hoping that some bears are going to start to switch sides or people are going to start to pile into this move. And then that's where we'll get the challenge on the previous day high. Sorry, not the previous day high, today's high. Herp-a-derp. Once we break the high, we'll be moving our stop up. Oh, you son of a gun. course, because I've only got one contract in the books, I got skipped over and other people got filled. What a pain in the butt. So we're going to watch this thin area here, look for some support for our break. Let us know if we want to keep riding this long position out or if we just got a double top. It's a good spot to find support. Nice little thin area in our profile. 13 moving average test. Well, that's aggravating. Got skipped over for the fill. And it's lost some of that utzpah. We've got some pretty good structure for another test of the high, but the longer that we're hanging out in this position, I mean, it's a 0 DTE, so we're going to lose value as the day stretches on. We really wanted to see the challenge early as opposed to later, so hopefully we'll get it. Ugh. Apparently there was a pretty good short off the high on the day. Yeah, we're back into this previous consolidation zone now. So that kind of dashes some of the hopes of our long play here. We just couldn't get that fill, could we? We'll see if the VWAP holds here. VWAP holds. That's going to be a good argument for continued bullish support. If it breaks, we're looking at balance. So, I mean, if this is anything like the other move, right? We had the bearish break, test to the 48 to a further bearish break with some weakness in the cloud. So, I mean, if we're mirroring anything, possibility, we're getting the test to the 48 with the VWAP test. Unfortunately, we potentially could get kicked out of this position before anything happens in our favor. And I mean, we also could have sold this in this entire pullback, but I liked my target. And as you can see, we hit above it, but we couldn't get filled. So hindsight, and this kind of stems back to things that I've told you guys before, with where you want to front run your profit point. So I should have shaved a couple cents off of that in our favor, and we would have gotten filled because it was pretty much right at the line. And at that point, you're competing with the algorithms and people who have much larger orders than you. Could potentially add to our position here, but it just I don't feel confident that we're not going to try balancing here now. And on top of that, remember we're losing theta value as this stretches on. Yeah, we're going to get booted. That is an absolute shame. We had the day's profit plus what we had lost in our first two positions right at that target sell. So hopefully some of you guys who playing with me were able to make some profit off of these moves that I was unable to. I mean, what really stinks is I've still got confidence in taking out the high of the day and the overnight high, even at these levels, but just not in the immediate future. Yeah. And look at that. It stopped us out from a whole bunch of profit to a couple cents. And why did it even stop us out? Never actually hit our sell point. I was looking at the pricing. So what? All right, let's see if we can figure out where we can get back into this. And at this point, that's just complete breakdown there. Our previous day close. And our 20. Back to our original buy-in price right there. We're also about to start C period. So we want to see where this low gets to. That's freaking aggravating. All right, C period's about to start. All right, take it easy. Thanks for joining. All right, we got back in. Same price. Pretty much the same stop out target. Ideally, we'd like to see this be C's low, but it could take a little crack at the 20 moving average without us getting too antsy. I'm actually going to put a little... So that's... You can see that on that chart. Okay. So that yellow line that we just added in there, just below the 20 moving average, that's ideally the spot we don't want to see period move below. Got a target cell situated for where we believe some demand will re-enter if we rotate up. Demand level seems to be rising again off of our 20. So potential accumulation campaign still happening down here. There's a lot of trading going on around this point of control. Or at least there has been all day. I just noticed our ES is attempting to fight with its VWAP on the 15. Our lows do seem to be getting higher on the 15. Pretty neutral on our put-call ratios. VWAP seems to have a has pretty decent supply on top of it. There's a probe into it there. They might be testing to see if they've accumulated enough. On the flip side of that thesis, that could also be the upthrust to clear out weak shorts before trying to take it shorter. Structurally speaking, I'm still feeling up. Maybe not a break on the high of the day. I mean, it is a poor high, right? So we would expect a correction there. But, when you're getting into correction territory, we're talking about period EF are the more likely periods to correct. And we're in C right now. So still consolidation, heavy consolidation going on along this point of control. I just really hope we're on the right side of this inevitable break. Another swing at the low. Low of this consolidation zone, that is. All right, true test of the 20 moving average. A lot of selling effort entering in right here. Still like this as a low spot for C period. So since I like that as a low for C, we're going to go ahead and connect our lower trend line there. Oh, wow. There's a fight going on. I guess we can adjust this. Does seem like there's an apex forming with this consolidation zone. Do we get a break, a false break? We've been getting some pretty extreme up and down in this zone. So it seems as if supply has dropped, like right on top of the VWAP. and demand has risen right up to the 20 moving average. So we've got like this battle in between those two spots, right? VWAP on our 512, and then the 20 moving average, on the same chart, but on our daily. And we're just going to see which side exhausts the other first, who absorbs all the orders and makes the push. Obviously, we are in on the long side. Given the highs and then given the lows that we've kind of seen, probability seems to be pointing in that direction. But nothing's guaranteed. Somebody can step in and decide to sell a whole bunch, and then that wouldn't matter what probability says. About 15 minutes out, a D period. Still getting solid consolidation on the price action. Waiting for this to squeeze. Squeeze in this term can go either way. Doesn't mean a short squeeze. Potentially the squeeze is starting. All right, so this is the zone they need to beat. It's that previous day value high again. Jeez almighty. Sellers are not going gentle. That's a big volume spike there. Interesting. There's two ways to read this. This is either the last of the sellers, or this is the start of a pretty big selling auction. Interesting. See how this plays itself out. I think we need to mark this as a zone, though, just in case there were orders that got trapped in there on that giant volume. Wild price action today. I mean, it's a narrow range, but it's a battle for the soul of the market today. So looks like if there were any trapped sell orders there, they got absorbed. Now I'm not sure how to read that volume spike. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it seems like that volume spike was an end of the sellers, but we're also not rallying or squeezing or anything. So I don't know. Tough call. Or is this where the ignition starts? Low volume, but decent upward movement. Because that value high is just really tough to generate momentum through. I mean, this is a pretty big up wave on our Weiss chart. Well, I guess no, now that I kind of zoomed everything correctly, it really isn't that big. Our biggest one was the morning recovery. That one was huge. This one's tiny in comparison, so it's actually making pretty good ground for being as small as it is. It still seems to be struggling to get momentum over that value high, though. I mean, things look like they're balancing, but I was expecting maybe a little bit more push to the upside. I mean, obviously I was. That's why I have my sell target there. All right, so here's a line to push through. This was the opening low. See if they can get some momentum beyond that point. I mean, you can see a little bit further back where we had our first break above that point. That's the same point. And then if you look all the way back to the morning, that's the low point as well. So maybe that's where we wanted to take our profit. Yeah, so when we get a little bit of a channel going on here, we can see that was pushing just outside of it. So yeah, that was probably a good spot to take a little profit. So we're getting closer to D period. And I don't know, I guess maybe D period could have the potential to bust the high on C and whatnot. Maybe even the high on B. But momentum is stark up here, so do with that what you want. I mean, looking at our TTM, we still haven't even really begun the squeeze. This still just has the feel of a campaign. Getting up towards that same spot. Yeah, I guess we could put a little a line there, make it easier for you guys to see exactly what I'm talking about. You'll kind of see how it connects all the other, you know, pivotal points from the morning session. Right? That almost kind of shows that it's the extreme range of the day. But with the poor structure up at the top, we would expect a little bit more of an extreme off of it just to correct for that before it really tries to balance. But I mean, this refusal to break that point. Ugh. I don't like today's activity, but we're still in it. I mean, we're not looking to play like a breakaway. I just want to catch my profits at this point because I feel like that's a good spot. And I don't want to have to reposition either. All right, D period, 60 seconds away. Will it be a rally? Will it be a crumble? Will it be some kind of weird inside bar? These wicks on the highs are starting to seem to indicate that there's no interest in going much higher. But there also doesn't seem to be a lot of aggressive selling. So, we're kind of exactly where we were at before. 30 seconds to D. We are up at the top of C. I want to see D come in and just rip the high off C and maybe rip the high off B. That would be absolutely wonderful. All right, here we go. D period starting. We're going to rip the high off C. And we've got poor structure on C to D. Here you go. Come on. Kick that high's butt, then go take on B period high. Do it. Ugh, just gross price action. So ordinarily we would wrap our stream up here at 11, but I mean, it just looks like we're so close to finishing our play. All right, D period's going to go challenge VWAP. Cool. I mean, that would be a good staging spot for it to finally start its rally. I mean, just look at that market profile chart, right? Like it looks like it wants to go higher. It's just this ugly structure up above. But not everything has to make a pretty picture. Man, go fix your pore structure. You know you wanna. You can do it. But of course, the other thing to look at and consider, I mean, trading volume's really thin up at the top here. So does not seem to be facilitating trade well. Now, taking that into consideration and that it can't seem to get traction back towards the high volume node below us, that does seem to push more and more to the theory of a break to the upside as we go seek out some more aggressive sellers. All right, so D period did just correct the high here. Ideally, it should make one more tick to be a good structure on the day for that, but we still have poor structure higher up at the high of the day. But again, volume's really thin. It's just not facilitating trade here very well. All right, so we got the one more tick, proper high on D. If this doesn't break, I mean, this is a good spot for it to start going back down. So we're going to consider just getting out of this position pretty soon here if this doesn't make the move that we're anticipating. Man, it is just teasing us so bad today. Missed out on that fill from this morning at the high, and then now it's just right under it. Oh, today is just a whole bunch of aggravation. Good God. Well, this could be a liquidation break. But either way, this has just become so stupid at this point. We would need a liquidation break to go higher because it was just struggling so much there. So based on that buyback, that does look like that was a liquidation break. But this is still very frustrating. TTM seems to be indicating that it might finally be squeezing. Not in our favor. We've lost so much value that our break even is actually just a little bit above VWAP now. It looks like they found sellers. So now we're back in the high traffic zone. EMAs look like they're trying to cross over to the downside again, losing VWAP. We're in a very ugly balancing day. All right. Well, to prevent this stream from going too much longer, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down here, guys. I'll let you know in the comments how everything turns out for us. If we finally end up getting the play that we were looking for, or if we're forced to bail out. But thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I feel like the analysis was really good today, but just some skullduggery afoot, which, I mean, it's part of the game. All right, take it easy, everybody.